Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Ask the Nanny. Tonight we have a very, especially to me, important topic. It is called EM Card Plus. Now, before we get started on talking about our topic, I'm going to let my guests introduce themselves to you while I share this with my friends on Facebook. So, um, we'll start with you, Rachel, and tell us a fun fact, too.
Okay. Well, first, thank you for welcoming me tonight. This has been on my calendar, and I've been really excited and looking forward to it. Kim, you're the one who made this connection. Thank you. Excited to be here with you both. All right, let's start with a fun fact. In the spirit of women who can do, when I was a kid, my father, who could be tuning in at some point, wanted to make sure that as a girl I could protect myself. So he enrolled me in karate classes, and I was the only girl in that class for years and years. And I competed in championships and hid trophies under my bed because it took me a long time to be proud of being a girl who participated in karate when everybody else did ballet. But it also gave me the backbone and ability to be, whether it's a girl or anything otherwise, someone who said, let's do things differently. We can do better. We can do this. And in today's spirit, more than ever, let's be ourselves and let's dare to be different and let's dare to do more, girls, boys, otherwise. So how's that for a fun fact?
Great fact. You just talked about that on Friday night, Kim. I just thought about that.
We did.
About karate?
No, about raising girls versus raising boys.
Yeah, we did a live on my Instagram about raising boys versus girls, and so it was fun because not everybody looks at them as the same, or they don't look at like other things that they do and developmentally wise, like why they do them. So it was fun. We had a lot of questions. So yeah,
Very cool.
very cool. So I guess it's my turn.
It's your turn.
So, most people know me. I'm always on Angela's Ask the Nanny show. But if you
She's going
don't,
to become a co-host. That's just all to it.
I know why. So, if you don't know me, brief introduction. I'm Kimberly Brown, also known as Nanny Kim on the Go. Um, Most people know me for, I guess, being in the industry for 25 years now, working as a nanny, as an NCS, travel nanny, also working with U.S. Nanny Association and Nanny Sitter Education Fund. So I always look for something that helps us to grow as an industry, something that helps because I'm also a parent consultant. So I love to help my parents and make sure that our children are safe and that they are secure. So when I met Rachel and she told me about M Card, I was like, we need to talk and we need to let everybody know what M Card is about. So I'm super excited about tonight. I have already been spreading the word about M Card, and yeah, I'm so excited. So I have a few people already about to sign up, and we want to get the word out so that everyone can know what it is and jump on board and understand everything that we have going on. So that is a little bit about me. You can always find me on Nanny Kim on the Go across the board. I'm on Facebook, Twitter. I don't do too much twitting, but Facebook and Instagram, I'm always there.
I don't twit much either.
But I have one, but I don't twit much. But I would say a fun fact about me. I am an avid scrapbooker. I love scrapbooking. I have years of doing it, even to the point where I have gone to scrapbooking weekend conferences away, where everyone sits at tables, brings all of their pictures, and goes art and craft crazy.
Very cool.
That's why you're so good at Canva.
I am. That's what I say. Canva is like a scrapbook addict's like theme.
Dream.
Literally, yeah, like I literally can do it. Like people are like, I don't do it on my phone. I have to do it on the laptop. I do mine right from my phone, and I'm on it. Or I can sit on there for hours. It's addictive. It's bad.
Hello to Gloria and Michas. And Michas says she loves that fun fact.
Oh,
So now my first question is to Rachel. What is the EM card? EM card. Is it EM or M card?
Okay, so it's M card plus, M as
Card.
in emergency. So M card for short, and the plus is the extra. So what is M card? I'll back up and explain where it came from, and it came from a lot of places. In part of my background, I'm a mom of three. I was a lawyer. I'm still a lawyer, but I don't practice. I was a special education teacher. I've taught literacy to kids while I was in college. And very long story short, I've worked in pretty much every community. I spoke with Nanny Kim about this a lot. I've been everywhere. I've seen every kind of family arrangement, and I come from a place of tremendous respect and humility for all sorts of family situations and whatever that means for you. And M Card Plus comes out of all those different perspectives coming together to some universal things that are important for every child and to every family, and involved in any child's care all day long. So what happened last year around this time actually was we had a series of play dates, carpools, all sorts of things with my kids, where I had different kids of different ages in my care, or in my home where I wasn't there, and my daughter or son was out with other folks. And it occurred to me that in the rush of the way we live life today, even in the middle of a pandemic, we don't share as much information as we should, and we don't necessarily do it as well as we could. And it leaves the people who are caring for our kids, and that could be a parent, it can be a caregiver, it can be a nanny, a babysitter, extended family, friends, coaches. It's anyone who has your child, but outside of school. So, if you sign up for school, you're in, they have forms and they do all these things. Everything else is a little bit more fluid. So at its most basic, an M Card Plus is like the, index card that you fill out when you enroll in a program, right? You need a parent's name or a guardian's name. You need a phone number. You need the way to get in touch with a backup. So if the main responsible adult is unavailable, you need another number. Everyone needs more than one number. That is part of Nanny. Can we talk about this? This goes back to my experience with foster parents. You have to have a backup. The primary caregiver can't always be reached, and there has to be an emergency person to go to besides that individual. And then we have the other categories, which are allergies or other health alerts. And then we have the additional alerts from there. So there are alerts and things that people need to know that don't necessarily fall into categories that are life-threatening, but they're very important and can make all the difference between whether the adult taking care of a child is someone this child respects or trusts or feels comfortable with, how long it takes them to build that relationship. So all of these things go into the mix. And then what I call the plus is the additional bonus details, things that are fun, that you can include, but that you don't have to. But today, for example, my son had a play date And because of his friend's M card, I knew to play Moana in the car, and I knew things to ask and say so that this child was extra comfortable with us, and it just made for an easier transition. So some of this is essential and critical and emergency based, and some of this is conversation starter, trust foundation. I always say I want kids to be as happy, healthy, and safe as possible at all times. And MCARD Plus takes you through the day and all of the child's transitions in care.
Okay. So I hear an echo. Is there an echo? Okay.
A little.
Just
from you. I don't hear when Rachel was talking, but I do.
I know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Where is the echo coming from? Because my phone is off and it's reflecting on the speaker somewhere. But anyway, when you say the extra, I know, parents' name, possibly the pediatrician, depending on who your child is staying with. What extras are you concerned about is included? What is the plus part of it? We know the emergency part. What is the plus part of that?
So the plus, I'm going to back up from the plus for 1 second just to the alerts, because it's significant to point out that the alert section can include all sorts of things that don't fall anywhere else. And that goes back to a conversation that you and I were having that I want to get to about different ways you can use the card. So the alerts is for anything that you want to include that might not fall anywhere else. So we could say that's part of the plus, but the plus screen is for just a series of quick favorites: your favorite food, favorite book, favorite toy or game, favorite show, those kinds of just favorites to make it a little bit easier to connect, to say, when a new babysitter or nanny or someone is coming in, it makes a world of difference to a child if you can say, I knew that Clifford the Red Dog is your favorite book. I happen to have a copy of that book with me. Would you like to sit and read together? The look on a kid's face when you are able to connect with them, and you don't have to go searching and digging. Oh, what's your this? Oh, what's your that? Shoot, I didn't bring my crayons. I only brought markers. You love crayons. I only brought books, but you love to draw. All of those little things can just start you off well. And they give you insight. They also give you the opportunity to ask questions, because in the favorites, you can also say, loves, chicken fingers, doesn't eat green vegetables. If I know that there's a kid coming for dinner who doesn't eat vegetables, and that is not something that their parents require, that kid doesn't have to eat vegetables in my house. I'm not forcing it. But if I didn't know that, I would encourage it. So, they're little things that to us, I just want to make sure I know if your kid has allergies. I might not ask about their favorite foods and their favorite shows and all these other things. But if I know, then I can make use of that information. And when you're coming from a caregiver perspective, it is nice to have some little details that can make it easier to connect.
For sure. When I go for interviews and I know it's going to be,
Uh-oh.
is that me?
Is it something else on?
No.
I don't hear it.
I totally hear it.
You don't hear it, Rachel? That's where it's coming from, because you sound kind of, like, do you have earplugs to your computer?
Do you want me to put them in?
Yes, because that might help.
Oh, okay. All right. Hold on. I'm going on mute and I'll be right back.
Okay. So while she's gone.
Yeah. So that's good.
Right. I think it was because when she first came on, I heard her voice was echoing. And that's why I thought, uh-oh. So technical difficulties, y'all, but she'll be right back. But while she's gone, the M card, you can also, I know with me, I like to find out when I go to the interview, I like to find out what the kids like because that way I can take that toy, I can take that sticker book or whatever it is so that I can make a connection with that child. It's so important when you're at an interview for you to make a connection with that child because mom and dad want to see how you're going to interact. I had a child who didn't want to come downstairs. No, I don't want to see her. No, I don't want to meet her. No, no, no. I had a sticker book. So I pulled out my sticker book. I said, well, I guess I'll have to do this by myself. And he wandered downstairs. What's that? And I just started putting stickers. I said, well, maybe mom and dad can, you know, do this since you don't want to do it. No, I want to do it. So that sticker book made the difference because by the end of the interview, he was sitting in my lap and we were doing stickers. And mom's biggest concern was that, and the reason I was there is because the nanny that was presently her nanny, she was a good nanny, but they were not a good fit. The child and the nanny were not a good fit. They never um, he never interacted with her. He never, it was always a distance. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, what am I going to do in order to make myself different and stand out and be better at connecting with this child than I am than that other nanny was. So when I talked to her, she said, well, he likes dinosaurs. So I said, does he like stickers? I said, yes. Walmart, $3.97. Sticker book. It had no faces and no toe, and we were putting toenails and eyes and everything else on there. And mom was impressed because he sat in my lap. He just crawled up in there. He's like almost 4 years old. He just crawled up in my lap like he knew me. And the smile on the mom's face was like, yes, I got the job. And I did, but it was those little things that you know about kids that parents are looking for. The little things, the little nuances of that can be the difference between an all out temper tantrum and a, oh, let me get your favorite thing and let's, hedge off this temper tantrum that's about to happen. So I like that part of the M card because it lets me know, oh, okay, well, let me prepare this. His favorite food is this. If I'm taking care of a child for the first time, I want him to like me or her to like me, and I want them to feel comfortable. So that is why I would love to have this information because kids tend to act different the first time they're
Right.
uh, after they get to know you. So it makes a difference.
Well, I know for me, when Rachel and I talked, I'm more about the safety stuff, and that's what really got me. There were three things that I could think of right off the top of my head when we started talking, and I said the other day, I took my nanny kid. She's 4. I had taken her. I took the kids horseback riding, and we had to fill out an application. And the application wanted information about my nanny kid, and I couldn't remember her birthday. Had I had an M card, I could have just went on there, and I was just like, "Well, listen, I know she's 4. Like, I don't remember the date. I know it's in February. Like, I really couldn't remember." Um, I think, if I would have had the M card, I would have just been able to whip out my little app, pull up her information, put in what I needed to put in, and they were just like, "Don't worry about it." But for me, I was just like, "Man, that sucks that I don't remember her birthday." You know, so things like that, little things like that, because you just never know. I like the fact that if parents share the M card with me and I go pick them up from school or I go pick them up from a play date and maybe the mom doesn't know me, like if I have the M card, they can say, okay, well, I know if the mom shared that information with you, then you're the person that I should be giving the child to. um,
Yep.
I like that. I like the fact that I remember a couple of months ago when Nanny teased did the Nanny and Womble, and I remember, I want to say it was Nanny Sherry, and maybe it was somebody else, but I remember them clearly saying that in the neighborhood that they worked in, they have to have a letter from the parents saying this is my nanny. She's allowed to have my child just in case an emergency happens, or just in case someone calls the cops and they're like, well, who's this child and why do you have this child with you and who are you? Like, to pull out something like that that says, listen, you know, this is proof that I'm supposed to have this child. This is all this child's information. You don't need a letter, because if the parents are giving you all of this information, you're supposed to have that child. One. Two, there's a section in there that the parent can write a note. This person is allowed to have my child. If you need to contact me, this is my number. And who doesn't bring their phone with them everywhere? So this app, when
Everywhere.
you know what I mean? Like, if someone gives you a letter, it's easy for the letter to get messed up by some bottle in the bag. Now the bottle done wet the paper. It's all wet. Like, or you forget to bring your bag, or maybe you're taking a stroll and you just have the diaper bag and you don't have it with you. Like, anything could happen. Um, so having something to back up, I think, is like amazing for us. And so for emergency purposes and for safety purposes, that's why I love it. And I think one of the things that Rachel didn't say that we talked about is that if I'm the nanny and the parents share it with me and then I'm no longer the nanny, they can take it back and not like, they can stop the share, which means that nanny can't go to the school and pick up the child. You know what I mean? They won't just have that information. You share it with the new person, or like if the grandparents have them for the weekend, okay, well, we'll share it with you for the weekend, and now we want it back. We're not gonna, So having that control over where your personal information and your child's personal information is amazing. And I think we're so used to seeing, like, I know for a while a lot of the states did this little card, and it was like an ID card that they
Yeah.
from school, and it had a picture of the kids that they took from school that year, so that you can see a up to date picture, and you can buy it when you buy your package. It used to give it for free, but then they started including it in the school package. Well, if you didn't order it, then you didn't have one. And if you did, you usually just got two, one for mom, one for dad. Then what happens when they're out with someone? They don't have it. So the fact that it's on an app, it's on my phone. I always have my phone everywhere I go. I feel like that gives me more access to it, and it makes me feel a little bit more safe, as far as having what I need. And even if I have it, you know, and I'm able to use it for whatever purposes I need. Like, I've already told my boss, and I already sent her the app, so she's down. She's gonna put out, her two in there, so that I can have it, because it is important for us to, be able to have this information when we're taking care of kids, especially, allergies and all that kind of stuff. Just to, keep it in the forefront of our head, because a lot of times some nannies take care of multiple children. Trying to remember all of that stuff for multiple children is a no-go. And when you have multiple families that you work for, there are times that I've worked for two and three families at a time. Trying to keep up with all of their information is it you can't. Like, I could
You
barely
can't.
keep up. I could
You
barely remember
can't.
my phone number nowadays, that everything is in my phone. Like,
Okay. Because I was working with 9 families at one time, and I had a form that was like 3 to 4 pages long, thing that I could have had on the M card. And you talk about having all this in my glove compartment. I'm like, so where's my registration? I got to go through all these papers. If the police stop me, hold on, it's in here somewhere. Let me get rid of the extras that I got up in here. Let me find my registration. But yes, it is vital. It is so important. Hold on, let me say hello to everyone. Hello, Anastasia and Marilyn. Hi, Kanisha and Emily and Wayan. I think it's Wayan. Um, Elsa and Tanira and Gladys and Davia. and Adrian and Darlene. Let's see who else came in. Hi, Miss Monique. Hi, Sherilyn. And hi, Kathy. How are you all? Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for tuning in tonight. This is such an important and invaluable tool that I feel, and I know I will be sharing it with everyone that I know. Because as a newborn care specialist, yeah, new parents need it. And
Angela, if I may,
sure, sorry.
I want to point something out because everything you both said captures. I mean, I could cry because you captured it. You understand and appreciate everything that I wanted to do here. And I'll tell you, when I see cards that are made for kids, they're amazing because they do exactly what we need them to do, which is they provide the details that you just don't get or that you don't remember. And let's be honest, we forget, and then we're embarrassed, or did you want to call the mom and say, I don't remember her birthday? You don't want to say that. You know what month it is, and you're waiting for February to come so you can put that date in your phone so you never forget it again. Because that's what we do. We're
You're so
embarrassed, we're
right.
anxious. It's true. I do the same thing. I mean, my family members, all their birthdays are in my phone, repeat every year because otherwise I'm going to forget. So, that's what happens. And we don't want to ask again because we should know, or we know that we know, but we don't remember that moment. But anyway, what I wanted to point out though, and this is really empowering and this is really important to me, is we know that we want this information. We know that we need this information, whether it's the nanny, babysitter, or me as a mom taking care of other people's kids. But I have spent a lot of time thinking about two different things. One, why don't we do this? Okay, we don't do this because we didn't have M cards, so now we do. Check that, off the list. But now, what happens when other folks don't necessarily feel as passionate as we do about this information and sharing it because they haven't had an experience where they couldn't remember a detail, or they haven't seen another child have an allergic reaction? If I can answer that, it's free. It's free to download. The features that are available right now are all available for free and will stay that way. We may release other features and subscriptions, but MCard in its current form will always be free. That's what it's meant for. But what's really important as someone giving care is that when you download the app, on the top right of the screen, it looks like two of the little M cards connected to each other. And if you click on that, it takes you to the request screen. And what you can do there is you can type in either the name of a family or the name of a specific child, and then you put in the name from your contacts, right? So it pulls up the name of the parent who just hired you, or it pulls up the name of the family that you're interviewing with, and you send a request for that M card. And now this person who may or may not have been so compelled to do it, oh, I think it's a great idea, but I didn't do it yet. Now they have a request. So they're going to go in and they're going to answer your request, and they're going to make that card. And then they downloaded it, they've made the card, and now they're going to share it with you in a way that just the conversation might not get that action step completed.
Right. And then it's good to know as well, because I see that we have like the .com up there, but you
Mhm.
can also find it on Apple. You can find it on Apple. It hasn't. I don't think it's gotten to Android yet, Rachel. Right? It'll be
Nope, coming
coming.
in
It's
2021.
coming soon. So,
Oh,
so for
finally the
all,
apple gets something first.
hey, it is what it is. No, but for all you Apple users, it is on
Yes.
Apple, so you can have that app. Just download it to your phone and fill out, do whatever you have to do, and then have it. You can do it from the Apple as well. So, just FYI.
Thank
I
you.
want to point out something that we discussed, Rachel. Um, I know as a newborn care specialist, a lot of nannies, and as a nanny and a newborn care specialist, I work with a lot of families, and some of them are temporary. And but if something happened to me, if I fail, I've gotten hurt at work,
Mhm.
and it was only once, but it was enough to let me know that if something happens, I need for you to know who to contact. Well, do you have a doctor? Do you have, what's your doctor's name, or what's your, who do I call? I got all your information or who to call in case something happens to your child. But what if, God forbid it happens, you're you're transporting a child and the car gets hit and head on, and all the kids in the back are fine, but you got toddlers. What's your mama's name, mama? What's your daddy's name, daddy? Okay, so how do I contact somebody if I have no clue who to contact? But if I have if I have given my employers at least a contact number, somewhere to
Mhm.
start if she comes in, if I slip and fall and hurt my head or hurt something, who's gonna come and get me? Who's going, I may not be hurt enough to go to the hospital, but I'm hurt enough that I'm in pain. I need to go home.
So,
So how am I gonna get there?
right.
Who am
So
I gonna call?
something, right. So something we talked about that I also love here, in addition to being able to make the request, right, is that you could also make a card for yourself and share it with your employer. The name of the app is MCard Plus, EMCARD with the plus sign. Um, and what you can do, thank you, thanks, Kim.
You're welcome.
So what you can do though is you can also be proactive and share a card, because one of the things that I found, and this goes to the contact information, and this is both, Angela, for you as sharing your information and who you might want somebody to call in, God forbid, but in case you needed something. And yeah, he's so glad. And then, but also something around, let's talk about just sharing these phone numbers. Who's on these cards, right? So for me, it's the most extraordinary woman who takes care of my kids and my husband. But people don't necessarily always want their nanny's phone numbers out there for everyone, right? To share. We don't share contact information all the time. We don't share that precious, information from our phones. Also, the husbands or the dads, you don't want the phone number for every mom, dad, grandparent, nanny, whomever, for every child that comes in and out stored in your phone. Because the reality is you have one primary point of contact and the others are in case of emergency. And so you're not even necessarily going to remember, the name of the brother, the aunt, the friend who you stored, because we didn't remember the birthday. How are we going to remember who we're calling in
And
these other
especially if it's an
moments?
emergency, your brain is like,
Your brain is frozen.
Exactly. So if
Yeah.
I can open this, whether it's, for someone who's taking care of my kids, whether I'm the one who's taking care, whether it's, someone else's kid, whatever the situation, if it's all right there on that card, I can dial it from the actual card in the app. That's it. I tap on the name and
yeah.
it calls that person.
Now that right there, that's worth the extra storage on my app on my phone alone. Being able to just hit the button. Wait. Let me go back
Who
to
am
the
I
app.
calling?
Yeah. People panic when they are in emergency situation,
Mm-hmm.
We
and
all do.
it's like your blood pressure, adrenaline's running, and you're like, okay, so I called them, I did this, I did that, and your brain is so scattered. It's like, and then the child is crying, or somebody, they could be bleeding or something, and some people, I ain't gonna name no names, but when blood is involved, I just get kind of, yeah, I'm good if there's no blood involved. I'm good. I can call somebody. I'm in charge. At the minute I see blood, I'm like, hold it together, Angela. Get it together. Okay, got this. I have to give myself a pep talk in order to take care of them. I'm like, why are you wasting precious seconds? And you need to be moving. You need to be doing something to help them.
Yeah.
It being able to just hit a button, hit that. Okay, I can think of. Okay, pull up the EM card. Okay, yeah, that's the person right there, and just call.
The idea is to keep it simple, make it useful and usable. And I think that, honestly, the people who, those of us who really love kids, take care of them, interact with them, understand what it means to have an uncomfortable moment with a child. I don't want kids crying. I want kids to be happy, and I want the adults taking care of them to feel capable and comfortable, and kids know how we feel. They feed off of how we feel, and all of it goes together. So we're more able and capable in an emergency if we know that we have a plan. Sometimes I can't tell you the number of times just amongst my kids' friends that I know this is a child who has allergies, but I don't remember the list and I don't know which brand is safe. And I'll read the label 8 times. It's not that I won't, but if I could just go back and check it and not have to ask again, I would feel better. The other thing that's really important, and I love this for nannies and parents, and I you can update it and it's automatic. So if you've shared the card and then something changes, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You're not going back to the computer, retyping the page, reprinting it. By the time I'm done with the sentence, you're not doing it. But if it's quick, I'm doing this on my app, and now everyone involved in my child's care has this update, that is a lot easier. And again, oftentimes if the parent or guardian is in a rush, but you know that the child just had a doctor's appointment and their dosage was changed, you can remind the parent who created the card, could you update this please? And because MCAR already exists and you've already engaged in the conversation, you're helping make that child safer everywhere that child goes, because you're saying, well, let's just update it. You're paying attention to these things, and let's be real, the nannies often are paying a lot of attention to things that parents might be
Yeah.
busy and forget. And I'm going to say, guilty, because that happens in my home all the time. You are the most in tune with kids, and you're paying attention to the doctor's appointments, and you're asking about the other kids coming over to the home. And just because the message has been communicated to a parent doesn't mean they've communicated to you. So being able to have this type of a platform, and instead of saying, could I get a list? Could you text this to me? It's just, can you send me their M card? Done. And then if there isn't information on it, they can update it, but you're not constantly reinventing the wheel. We're making it, in my great hope, cool to be safe.
Yeah. And then you also have the conversation that we had about the norm for nannies. We deal with these play dates. Mom has made the information, she's made the play date with the other mom. The nanny just comes into work on Monday and you're like, oh, they have a play date today. Can you drop them off? Okay, you drop them off. And then it's like, okay, well, I'll pick them up after I get off work because I'll be back in time. So you drop them off, you leave them there thinking that they're fine. Something happens, and the person is now trying to figure out, how do I call mom who's at work? Mom is in a meeting. Mom doesn't get back in touch. They don't know the nanny's number because
Yeah.
some nannies
Because we didn't share it, because we don't do that.
you know, um, and then your kid actually has an emergency, and there's no one to get in touch with. Um, I think that happens more times than a little bit. because even when it comes to, I know what their allergy is. I know they have a peanut allergy, but I just want to make sure that that's all they have. And then you have to call or text someone, and mom is in a meeting. Dad is not available. You don't have dad's number. You don't know who Nanny is. You don't. Then you're sitting there saying, "Ah, maybe I just won't give them peanuts or this or that," because you don't really know what it is. And if you ask the kid, now I'll say 7 times out of 10, if they're old enough, they actually know what their allergy is. Oh, I can't have peanut butter because I have an allergy. But if they're young, they don't know. So now, what do you do? you know. So I think when
Well, a piece of bread, they'll be okay.
they'll be
You
okay.
know what though? It's funny that you say a piece of bread because when we were first working on this idea, we were talking about it with friends who have a child who is a celiac. So gluten is not okay. So
Nope, it's
now
not.
they had a situation, and this wasn't a family that had a lot of play dates, and this was, just they weren't the prime M card candidate. And they said what was interesting was they did find themselves with a somewhat spontaneous play date. The child asked for it, let's say at the end of soccer on Sunday. The parents agreed to it for Monday, but the nanny was going to be in charge, not the parents, because they both work in Manhattan and the family lives outside the city. So, it's not a hop, skip, and a jump. It takes time. And they're both, very busy working professionals. And bread isn't okay in their house. And their nanny is very well trained to be really sensitive to to her child's needs, but also is aware that other children could have more significant needs. So this
Mhm.
little boy comes over, no information is exchanged. And you might say, okay, the default is that the kid is fine. But in her world, the default is, I'm not giving you anything. And the child asked for a snack. The mother of the child didn't respond as to whether or not there are any allergies. The nanny asked, and it was 45 minutes went by. Nobody answered. This poor woman was stuck with a child. I want a snack. I want a snack. I want a snack. I want a snack. And they sound like that, and it's on repeat.
Yeah.
And she didn't know what to do. And by the end, she was standing there. This was the story, peeling an apple as slowly as humanly possible, trying to buy herself time because she didn't know what she could give this child. And by the time she was done peeling the apple, the other parent was there to pick up and the play date was over. But had the information been conveyed in advance,
Yeah.
she could have had apple slices ready with peanut butter.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's a hard situation to be in because I know I've had it happen, and so I ask when I go on interviews, it's one of the first questions does
Yes,
the
me
child have any
too.
issues with food or like do they have allergies? Because there's nothing worse than having a child. I had a child that I nannied, and she was 4, and we had no idea she was allergic to kiwi. And the mom bought kiwi, not knowing. And the next
Mhm.
thing I know, I looked at her and she had hives everywhere. And I called the mom. She just happened. She was like, I just got out of a meeting. I'm running into another one. Quick, quick, quick. And I was like, I sent her a picture and I said, she's breaking out. She has hives everywhere. I need to take her to the doctor now. Like, you're not going to make it in time. And, we just happened to, like, I think a week before that, make all the list of the doctors, do all that stuff, and have it in the kitchen. And so she was just like, just take her. I'll meet you there. Um, so we didn't know she was allergic to kiwi at 4. We had no idea. And
Mm-hmm.
she loved it. She ate it. She ate the whole thing. And then next thing I know, rashes and hives and redness and itching. And the poor child was screaming. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're allergic. So I can't imagine, like, some people being in that situation and not understanding what happens to children when they go into those phylactic shocks, and they have no EpiPen because they had never been diagnosed. So it is important for you to have all this emergency stuff. And like you said, as things change, as they get allergy tested, as they, those things update, and you're aware of it. And so I
And
think a lot of times that people just don't think about that. And then, especially when you have a nanny and you have someone else that is with your child, the more information you give them, the better. that's not the time to be stingy with information.
Hello.
Because that person is liable for your child. So I think that's what I love. Like as soon as you like talk to me, I was like, I'm aboard. Like I need to be an ambassador. We need to get the
I
word
was
out.
too. I was like,
With
this
like,
is what I do. This is, yes,
I
yeah,
mean,
this
that was
is
pretty
what.
awesome.
yeah. So I'm excited. And it's funny because Angela has done specials where she's done like emergency specials on Ask the Nanny.
Yes.
I've done emergency specials on my IG, and I think Angela did one with me, and we just talked
Yes.
about like house proofing and all the things. And
Yeah, but
if
this is an emergency too. This
yeah,
needs to be added to that segment.
yeah, it's
And
one of those things that comes up. It's in our industry that you have to be prepared for everything.
I mean, I think from a starting point, if you're going to interview, and I would just say anyone getting started, if you're looking for a new job, anything that can make you more professional, right? This is something that you can say, I'm on M card, are you? There's no cost, and it is improving the safety of a family and a child. It's only a win. And I think it's taking matters into your own hands because, if the parent makes a list and then it's on the refrigerator, but you didn't take it out with you, it was in the diaper bag and the milk spilled on the paper. And now maybe you do or don't want to say, oh, something spilled on the paper. You're just kind of like, shoot, I don't want to tell them that happened. So here it is. It's digital. Like you pointed out before, Nanny Kim, you can unshare and retrieve the card. So if a position's temporary or, any situation, you can take it back when it's no longer needed. But I think that it starts conversations. It helps you remember things in the moment when you panic or when you don't have access to other information. It can help you off the bat, even, before the interview. I think there are a lot of times not nannying as a long-term relationship, but babysitting or pinch hitting for someone, especially when you're talking about babies, right? And, newborn specialists, how many times is it, so somebody's unavailable or somebody can't do the weekend and there's a quick transition. If you could share that card that's up to date in that moment and bring someone quickly up to speed, you're just setting up what kind of foot they're getting off the ground on. And you can make a long lasting, beautiful relationship from there. Me too. But it can make all the difference. So, I can't sit here and pretend that emergencies aren't going to happen and kids aren't going to have allergies, allergic reactions, and you're not going to panic when you find out that that child's allergic to kiwi at 4 because there was no way to know. But the beautiful thing is if you know about MCARD, you could say, Mom, now that we know, let's get that on there
Add it.
because it is very easy to go to a birthday party and go to scoop out of that fruit bowl and any supermarket may or may not have kiwi in that bowl. And the person hosting that party may or may not know about that allergy, but it's a lot easier to let them know if they're already on MCARD. And, it's, hey, Mom, does, Sabrina have any birthday parties this weekend? Did you share her MCARD? Do they know that she's allergic to kiwis? Because the reality is, Mom just wants to get through the day. And you're probably paying a lot of attention to where she's going and what she's doing and who she's with and asking important questions. So, for you to have a tool that gives you the ability to have this conversation meaningfully and then have action and get the information, because at the end of the day, it's not always so easy to get the information. I just want to make that possible for all of us.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think it's scary for people as well because I know I've been in that situation. I went on a cruise for 3 days, and I left my baby with one of my friends, and they knew she had a peanut allergy. But I think what ended up happening was one of her children came home from school, from college, or from school or whatever, and they had a muffin that had banana nut in it, and my daughter was
Wow.
like, "Oh, I want some," and of course, a child asks you for something, you give it to them. Next thing you know, she broke out. And when I got home from, on the cruise, there's no way to get in touch with people because you're out at sea. There's no Wi-Fi and stuff like that. But, you know, even though I gave her like the doctor's number and everything like that, she was still like, she panicked and she was just like, I didn't know what to do. So when I got home, I think it had been like 2 or 3 days that I was on the cruise. When I got home, she hadn't had any Benadryl. She hadn't had anything. And so when we got home, I let the doctors know we need to have an EpiPen. Like, even though we knew she had allergies, they never gave me an EpiPen because they figured, you're her mom. She's with you. You know she has allergies. Just don't give it to her. But there are situations when they're with someone else and, having an M card, I could have said, make sure she has Benadryl, to give her the EpiPen, call the doctor, like the steps to do. So I think that it's amazing. And one of the things that someone asked me about the M card, which is for you, Rachel, they wanted to know, once they put this information in the app or in the system, where does it go? Who does it get shared to somewhere? Is there something that says, it only stays with you, it doesn't go anywhere else? Like, how does that work?
So the way that it works is that your account is unique to you. I don't have identifying information. We don't store passwords. All of that is encrypted. So, I'm not sitting here with a magical database of passwords. The information on the cards is stored in a server that is also, again, encrypted and has multiple layers. It's been reviewed by really, intense CIA level protocols to make sure that it's meets kind of industry standards. So there's, multiple layers of security, and I don't have a magical Rolodex of cards where, someone is going to go and steal the information, because first they'd have to be able to access your account, which we don't store any information for. So your cards are your own. No one else can access or share them. That's also just on that point. That's why we never built, there's no forward feature. So it's not like I can take a card that was shared with me and forward it to someone else. That's not a feature within the app. And something that I like to make clear, two different things. One, anyone you're sharing a card with, you're controlling the information that's on that card. So whether you put a last name or not, whether you put an abbreviation or not, whether you include a photo or not, a birthday or not, the favorites or not, all of those details, you're choosing what you're including, and then you're choosing who you're sending it to. So for me, my created box for my own family has a range of cards. Now, I have 3 kids. It's not that I have 3 cards. I have 3 kids. I have 10 cards, because I have a very generic card for, I'm leaving a tennis lesson for an hour. You don't need every piece of information. You just need my husband's number in case of an absolute emergency. That's it. And I don't need you to store his phone number, so here's the card and I can retrieve it at any time. For my nanny, if I am trusting you with my kids, I trust you with my life, you can have my child's picture. You can have everything, because I'm leaving my child with you, for an indefinite period of time. Those are, I would say, the most complete card versus the most basic card. And it is up to the user, the account holder and creator, how much you put, where you put it, and then where you share it. But the user is the one in control. I don't collect that information. And I have no idea who you shared it with. So once you share it, you're completely responsible for where it goes and pulling it back. I have no control over that.
Awesome.
I can, if one thing I can say though is that I do have the ability from out back end to disable an account. If for any reason there was any sort of untoward or suspicious activity, I do have the ability to disable an account. But that hasn't happened.
Okay.
Hey, I have a question. So if you all have a question, hold on. Let me do this right quick because we had a lot of people join. Um, Hello, Nikki. Thanks for joining us. And let's see who else came in. Godelia, thanks for joining us. Keisha, B. Um, I don't want to mess up. Uh, Miss Navarro, because I can't pronounce your name, the first name. Hello, Sherry. Thanks for watching. Hi, Faith. And hello, Maureen. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. Now, I have the last question I have, and I'm the queen of portfolios. So, what I want to know is there a little information card or a simple brochure that we can print out or email to potential parents, because I like to have things like that in my portfolio because I leave them in mini portfolio with my parents, and I like to have something like that so they can look over it and decide, okay, this is what I normally use to keep up with the kids, to keep information, to do whatever needs to be done with the kids, or go to play dates or whatever. This is the tool that I use. And here's some information. Read over it. This is what it's about. If you have more questions, ask me about it. Look it up on the internet or whatever. I like to give at least a resource page or
Yep.
something um, that I can print out and give to the parents, because I know, especially new parents, they are reading every book,
You're
every
right.
app, listen to every friend.
Mhm.
It's like they're sponges. So that's what I want to know. Is there something that I can give to the parents
Yes.
at the end of it?
So two things. So one, I will email you. I have it, we designed it as a postcard as opposed to a big flyer because people don't read a lot.
That's even better.
So I can mail you some that I will send you with your M Card Ambassador swag as well. So that I can put in the mail this week. I can also email it, so it's something that you can email to anyone who's interested and wants to print it, or feel free to send anyone my way, and I will happily mail them to them. And also, we will have probably tomorrow, so I'll send you the link. It's going live in the morning. A video that folks can watch, and that kind of shows. It's a cartoon, but it takes you through different moments of why would you create it, when would you use it, and how does it help. And I think it answers some of these questions. So I'll send you the link to that video as well. It was
Okay.
fun. It was a lot of fun to make.
So if you have the link, can you attach it in the comments tomorrow in these comments? Because a
Yes.
lot of nannies, like I said, they may not necessarily watch, but they'll come and read the comments and see, what did I miss? Is there a website I can go without having to watch everything? They'd
Yes.
rather go read about it and get information and call it a day, because it's probably quicker.
So I
But
think what
yeah,
we can do, I will definitely happy to send it your way, Kathy. If you want to send me an email or a message, Instagram, anything, you can send it through here, and I'll take it down as well. And I will the same way. Kim, you posted the link to the app
Yeah,
before.
I can
Is
post it
that
again. Hold on.
And then I can go back if you want, Angela. I could put that in the comments tomorrow, and I can also put the link to the video as well, so people can see the video, get a little taste of it, and I will also, they can download it. I mean, it's available in the Apple App Store right now, and I have to tell you, it's one of the most interesting things just watching when folks are downloading is you have to do this when you do have time,
You have time.
right? Because you have to download it, you have to pay a little bit of attention, but our kids are worth it, right?
Hmm.
And once you've done it, and truthfully, it can take you less than 1 minute to fill out the profile builder. One of my friends whose daughter got a cafe, whose daughter was diagnosed with allergies this summer. I got, such an awesome compliment when they downloaded it. And the feedback I got was, wow, this took us less than a minute and it asked all the right questions. So it's not a big burden. And once you've done it, that's when it gets really quick because you can share it and it's easy and it's efficient. Awesome, Meecha, so excited. Welcome to the M-Card family. And, so once you're on board, it's easy. And that's the goal, is to share it. And, Kim, you said this earlier, and this is what we talked about. It's changing the norm. And I liken it to, wearing a helmet, whether it's riding a bike, skiing. When I was a kid, we didn't wear helmets for everything, even though it makes sense now. I mean, it's mind-boggling. You would never think of it. My 2-year-old knows that, she's not getting on a scooter without a helmet. But when I was a kid, we didn't wear helmets as much for everything. And now, especially skiing, I've just watched the industry change over time. It's become a requirement. And now it is cool to wear a helmet. And I think, you say this, Angela, and this is why I love talking with you both, because we're coming from that, same background and understanding and desire for the kids and families, for all of us to function as well as possible. But you want this from birth. You want to start with it and have that be your norm. And when the norm becomes, we have this app and we share it, it changes the conversation, and it takes all of those text messages and those emails and the letters and the refrigerator and the index card and all of the different systems, and it streamlines it. And can you imagine any family you're working for? Angela, you said 9 families at one time?
I was a traveling nanny at the time. I was working with 9 families at one time. All of them had a form. One was the kids' school, the pediatrician, the dad's information, mom's information, backup person information, insurance information, permission to get their child medical treatment in case of an emergency. What else did I have? It was 3 or 4 pages. It was a lot.
But if you had 9 families worth of folders, you could have one app with all the kids in one place.
And that's what I was like, yes, when you told me that, I was like, man, I needed this before now. And I am a mom of a child who, if the wind blows wrong, he has an allergy attack. Seriously, he is allergic to fresh cut grass, and his eyes will go whoop, and just nose start running. He's allergic to so many different grasses and things, and to think that he wanted to be a large animal vet. Thank you, Lord, for changing his mind. Because I could just imagine right about now his allergies. But if I had that with my own child, that would have been awesome. Because I had one who couldn't get water in his ears because he had tubes. And I had one that had so many different allergies. Like I said, the wind blow wrong, and he's just, they're calling me from school. He's got the pink eye. No, he does not have pink eye. He has allergies. So I can't even tell you how many times I got that phone call.
Well,
But
and I'll tell you today, a lot of people have said to me that seasonal allergies, which may be somewhat mild, but everyone's more concerned about them right now because, oh, you have the sign of a cold, you must have COVID. And so let's
yes,
talk about this for 1 second. I think it would be, foolish for me not to bring up, okay, how does M-Card work with COVID? And number one, a lot of people have said to me, oh, my kid with seasonal allergies, this is really helpful because I can include that and say, just so you know, my child has a runny nose from, March to June. It's not, don't send my kid home every single day. Don't call me every single day. This is an allergy. And to be able to make that distinction can feel very important. also, you know, a lot of people are nervous or anxious about talking about a lot of different categories, whether that's car seat safety, a booster seat versus a 5-point harness, whether that's mask wearing or not wearing, whether that's I want my child to, yep, we're saving trees here. That's important. And we're contact free, right? Where, you know, if you want a mask on and the windows open, just, you know, no, it's not a debit
No,
card.
and not a debit card.
But it allows you to bring up topics or to share preferences, share concerns, ask questions, and it gives you a place to do that in a way that's respectful and respected. And I think that that's really, really important, especially today, now more than ever.
Yes, definitely, definitely, definitely. Okay, so if you all have any more questions, please type them into the comments. If you're watching this on the replay, please type them into the comments and tag EM Card Plus so that if I can't answer the question, if Rachel can come back and check it and answer any questions you may have.
Happy
Um,
to.
we need to share this with all of our nanny groups. We need to share this with our parents. If you're in a parent group, please share this now. If you are in a nanny group, please share this now because this is so important. Um, I can't even tell you the paperwork that it just collapses. A file, 9 people, not no 9 families that have multiple children.
Yeah.
That's why it was so much paperwork. Because if you got 2 or
Yeah.
3 kids, you got one form for each child.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You really want to mainstream everything and just make it easy. Like we have enough going on with COVID and the extra things that we take on in our industry and in in childcare and stuff, and to have it be a little bit easier. I'm always looking for something that's like when speed dial came out, I was who are the 9 people I call the most? Like your number is 1, you're 2, you're 3, you're 4.
Right.
Like I'm all about easy. Let me
Exactly.
dial 1 and pound, and I'm calling my mom. 1, 2, I'm calling my best friend. Like it makes it much easier. It's streamlining all of this information. And I think, we wear so many hats and we do so many things. It is hard to keep, like, we already have to have, these synchronized Google calendars. Mom has to put, oh, today they have, extra such and such. Today they have track practice. Today they have gym, with this over here. They need this bag. But you have so much to do already. Like to have everything be in one place is so much easier. I'm telling you, when we went to the horseback ride, I was just like, listen, she's 4. They're like, don't worry about it. I was like, I can't even, I'm not calling anybody. I can't think. Like, I'll fill out the rest of this next time I come. I'll let you know, you know. So when I got home and I was telling their mom about the M card, she just cracked up and she was like, well, remember her birthday is February, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
Put it on the M
I said,
card.
at the moment when I'm filling out application and I'm filling out 2 applications, I got 2 kids running around the office, like smelling horse poop. I don't think I'm not thinking about it.
It's like brain fart.
Mhm.
I just want to get the kids on the horse. So I think that when we think about all the things that we have to do and just trying to keep our kids safe and having the emergency things be there. I really, the I think even when it was said, like I said earlier, the thought of a nanny having to carry a letter around saying, I care for this child, in a climate where we have to worry about policing and, children being snatched and taken, from anywhere. Like, you know how many children just get taken every day, and being able to tell a
Mhm.
kid, listen, if someone comes up to you, if they don't have your M card, you scream. You know,
Well,
um,
that's, I
that's,
told
it
my
gives them a sense of they can actually do something. And I
Mhm.
think that takes a little bit of pressure off of you too, because when you have older kids and you can tell them, listen, if someone comes up to you and says that mom sent you or I sent you, and you ask them, do they have your M card? And if they say no, because we have to give them, past mystery words. If they don't know
Mhm.
the mystery word, you can't go with them. If they don't have your M card, you can't go with them.
Mhm.
Giving them that ability to know when they can be safe and when they can feel like they can let their guard down is a huge thing. I think it's very important for kids to feel safe, as well as us trying to keep them safe, like giving them that responsibility of, having that safety for themselves and feeling okay. So I think that that's a big thing, because how many times do we have kids have play dates, and like just today, same thing. They have play dates. We don't know, and we've never met the parent. So how do we know that they're picking them up from school and that that's actually the mom? We don't, So I think I love it. I'm excited.
I love it. I'm excited about it. I am, like I said, if you're watching, speaking of people watching, let me see. Hello, Marie. How are you? Thanks for watching. Hi, Sharon. Thank you for joining us. Let's see who else came in. And Miss Ann Kearney. How are you? Hi, Barbara Bush. Okay. Hello, Barbara Bush. How are you? Um, let's see. Who else came in? Hi, Lucretia. How are you? Thanks for watching. And Kareem, thanks for watching. Kareem is in another country, and he's watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting up early and watching.
Yeah,
So,
he's in the Philippines, so he's
um, I think we have
early.
answered everyone's question. Um, I was just trying to see if I missed anything. Uh, Hello, Angela. How are you? Thanks for watching. So, I think we have covered everything. We covered all the bases. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and we will come back and answer them. Um, Thank you, Rachel, for sharing the M card with us. Uh, Game changer, lifesaver. So many different things are coming through my mind right now. It's like, whoa.
Angela, thank you for having me. Kim, thank you for connecting us.
Yeah,
When we got on the phone, we were on the phone
Like 2 hours.
easily for over an hour, from, kids, mom life, nanny life, M card. On behalf of the parents and families, and kids that you have cared for, thank you. You know, I think that we can do a lot of good, and I hope that this is helpful. I'm happy to always answer questions, take suggestions, and make it better and grow the community together. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome, welcome.
thank you.
Like I said, everyone, game changer. Go now. And if you
Thanks,
don't have
Angela.
if you don't have Apple, put a memo in your calendar, your Google Calendar, and say beep 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 beep. Check to see if M Card is on Android now.
I'll
Put it
announce it on our Instagram, and Angela, I'll stay in touch so you'll know,
okay.
and we'll be able to spread the
I'll,
word.
I'll
Yes.
definitely be posting it.
Thanks.
And you guys can actually, if you follow me on Nanny Kim on the Go, and you can't find M Card, or you're looking for Rachel or something, let me know, so that you can actually follow her, because she is on Instagram and
Yes.
Facebook. So follow,
Yes, please,
and
please go and follow
share.
EM Card Plus.
We'll grow this
Okay.
community together, one kid safer at a
Right.
time.
Yeah.
You can
Have a
find her
wonderful
on,
night.
on her website, but you can also find EM Card Plus on Facebook, and you can find EM Card on
On Instagram.
Instagram.
Mhm.
So go now. The show's over with. Go now and like and follow on
And
Instagram
download.
and download on
Yes.
Instagram, on Facebook, so that you when it hits, you can get it. You be the first one.
Thanks,
So
Angela.
I know I'm animated. I work with kids. I can't help it.
I love it.
I can't help it. I have been referred to as party in the box. That's what the child called me. So hey, I'm part.
I love
It's
it.
stuck. So, but yes, thank you all for joining us tonight. Again, share, 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 share. Okay, I got some comments over here. Let's see. Kathy said it's a sanity saver. Yes, I love that
Thanks, Kathy.
hashtag.
That's awesome.
That's a hashtag sanity saver. Thank
I'm
you,
writing it
Kathy.
down.
And Ann said, going to follow you now. All right. I need
All
wait a
right.
minute. I
I'll
need
see
to
you
write
on
that down.
Insta.
Okay. Hashtag sanity saver.
On
I
that
like
note.
that. That's a good good hashtag for nannies too, because we sanity savers too. I'm gonna have to
Yes,
use
you
that one.
are.
Okay. We're gonna have to put something in
I
there.
love it.
All right. Okay. Business.
Good.
All right.
Thank you, ladies.
And
Thank you, Kim, for
yeah.
introducing me. And you all have a great night. We will see you all next week, same time, same place.
Good
Bye bye now.
night.
Good night.
Good night.